Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. It is Thursday. It is noon, and we are back, and we've got some music that's a little too loud, and now it's died down. Perfect. I am here. Oh, I can see myself. I was dancing before we went live.
Yes.
You know, it happens.
It happens.
I am here with Jay. Welcome, Jay. How's it going?
It's going so good. Wedding season is in its peak right now.
Wedding season
for
is
us
here.
Up here in the Northeast. So we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, wedding season's here for me too. And with that, it makes sense that we are here reviewing your films that you submitted to us for critique. And without further ado, Jay, should we just jump right in?
Yeah. I mean, our people, let's see. We'll see who's here. Yeah, everyone's
I know
here.
Ethan is here.
They all arrived.
All arrived.
So if you don't know how we do these live streams, if you're just checking us out for the first time, first of all, thank you. Second of all, like, subscribe, do YouTube stuff. You know, we're doing our very best to be free and non-salesy and just give you guys great wedding filmmaking content. And I think we kind of have a unique perspective because we're not just educators. We're first and foremost wedding filmmakers, and we do this in between all the wedding films we make. And so for us, like, the best thing you can do for us is just let the YouTube algorithm know that you're engaged and you think it's good content. So if you don't mind, hit like. Even better, share it on social, do something like that. And if you've never watched one, basically, we're going to be watching wedding films and we're going to be critiquing them. And we're not going to be saying, is this a good or a bad film? Because, Bobby, there are levels to that, right?
It's more nuanced than that. It doesn't work like that.
No, it's like, what are you working with?
That's
yes,
what it is. It's not helpful for you as a filmmaker. So
yeah, it's not helpful
so we're
to
share
do
our
that.
Thoughts on areas where you could improve, kind of meet you where you are, and also things that we think that you excel in, things that we think you did a really good job of, things that we think you should lean into for your next film. And with the goal ultimately of saying, hey, the next time you go out and shoot and edit a film, keep these things in mind, and hopefully they will help you make a better film for your next film, not compared to anybody else. So
yes, yeah, that's our goal. So one round of what we love about the film, one round of some things we think they could do to improve. Sometimes that's hard because we get some pretty incredible films. And then we're going to also be kind of always, like I said, keeping in mind where the wedding was filmed, how much they charged, all that stuff, and just kind of catering it to what's good for the filmmaker, not as an objective. We're not giving it away an award here. So let's do it. The other thing we like to let people know is we review members. If you click on that join button and you want your film submitted in the chat, head over there. It's also in the description, I believe. Or you could just go to weddingfilm.school and there's a little button at the top in the menu. You can click on that. And we review the full film for our members and a portion of the film for non-members because we want to get to as much content as we can. So, without further ado, who's our first film today, Bobby?
Oh, that is a great question.
Yeah.
Our first film is John Feldshow. Which I might have butchered.
Honestly threw that your way because I didn't want to try to say the person's name. Because
I knew it. I think John has been like in touch with us.
Yeah, he's been around.
Creative Event Productions, I think. Yep. And John says this is a next day 1-minute trailer, so next day delivered. Filmed near Paso Robles. Photographer stepped into almost every shot on a 35.
That never happens.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Shot on the FX3, A7S3, and the A7R5 in 8K, just for fun. Quirky and fun couple. Pixels. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen A7R5. I just have never really paid attention to the A7R line, really, because I just don't think I'll ever go that direction.
The R4 is a really solid camera.
They're all good. I think it's partially due to when I upgrade and the way they release, and it's just never quite time for an upgrade for me. And then
that's how cameras are in general.
Yeah.
That's what happens with Mac. I'm always like, well, I'm buying this computer 1 month later.
Yeah.
Here's a new chip. Darn it. I'm stuck with this for 3 years. So I'm just not on that cycle. All right. Well, you ready for this one? Let's do it.
I'm ready.
So this is a 1 minute teaser, guys. So we're going to definitely critique this a little different than a full film, because the goal of a teaser, if you're not familiar, is there's like highlight films, whatever you want to call them, which are to give you a survey of the whole day. A teaser is supposed to make you want to watch the highlight film. So, and work for marketing. So here we go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Prepare yourself.
Oh, no.
Wow. You look beautiful.
I take the small things for granted sometimes, but the small things are some of the brightest parts of every day thanks to you. You're the love of my life and the only person I want to share this life with.
Meeting you was the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't wait to just do everyday normal things together forever.
I pronounce you husband and wife.
I love you so much.
I love you.
That was so good.
I killed it, right?
Okay. The end.
I want to know what venue that is. I feel like I've shot there.
Oops. Pretty location. So let's talk about what did you like about that film?
Yeah, so, this is a 1 minute film, so it's pretty quick, I would say. But I definitely have some things I liked. I definitely have some things I didn't like. Okay, I think there were some really good shots. Some good shots of the couple. I think it was an interesting shot there. The details, it was like rings, and I think the rest of her jewelry. I think this is a great leaning into a more upbeat without getting into like the hype territory.
Yeah,
which is I think kind of a small window, right?
Well, it's a type of couple.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that fit them really well. I also think that this did really good with I think a lot of times in a teaser. So for me, when I first started doing teasers, there was no audio. I mean, there was music, but I didn't pull any audio from the day. And then I've started incorporating a little bit of audio. And I think this actually did a really good job. This is more audio than most teasers, I would say. And I think it helped kind of flow, and it didn't feel like it disrupted the music or vice versa too much for me, at least. So I thought that was cool and interesting. So I like that as well.
I
Benjamin
think
Kelly, I'm getting there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think the actual film narrative was excellent, especially for a teaser.
Yeah.
For a teaser, they the idea of oh, you ready for this? That's a great beginning to something, and then we did a great job. It's light and it's moving and
well, it's like a complete mini story within this teaser, which I think could be really hard to do. I don't think it happens that much, honestly.
It's actually a real trailer for a movie.
Yeah.
And so I would give them a ton of credit. I also think there are a lot of excellent shots throughout. There's a lot of non-excellent shots that we could talk about, and lots of overexposed stuff. But regardless, I think it's a very in terms of it's very effective. And that's a sick shot, except for being overexposed. But very effective. I think honestly, much more effective than most teasers, to be honest.
Yeah.
So good job.
Also, really good couple. I feel like you're the filmmaker, you did a great job, but that couple, they didn't make your job hard. They were into it, they were vocal, they had lots to say. I feel really awesome.
All right, go for it.
Yeah,
Bob.
So let's talk about the things that we think could be improved. All right, first thing off the bat, that text, that font, get rid of it. I don't even remember what it said. Was it their name, Jay?
It's their names, but it's the worst font ever. And it's terrible placement and just bad.
It's bad placement. It's bad. I don't think it should be in it at all. I don't think you need that.
It looks like
it looks cheap.
2002 iMovie.
Yeah. Yep. So take that out. Okay, Jay, I have two things that I think I want to. Well, here, let me go through the things that I just want to point out, and then I want to go through two things that I think we should have a discussion on. One, this shot right there. We just missed it. It was the bride. Thanks for looking at the camera.
I knew you were going to say something about that, and I was like, I don't care, but I knew Bobby would care.
I don't care, but it's like, why? What's the motivation? There's literally one shot that's in black and white.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like,
really...
I have nothing wrong with black and white, but it needs to be its own, like, why. There needs to be a why behind it. And to me, at least, making one shot in the entire teaser, I guess not film, whatever, black and white tells me there's no motivation for that, probably.
Yeah, or
I think that's what.
Well, and my issue is like, it's not the overexposed stuff, which is what I would do for black and white. Because there's a lot of overexposed
nice.
stuff.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it looks nice. Like, honestly, my thing is either don't make that one black and white, because I don't even know what it would have been that like prompted you. Like, there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
shot,
it would be
right?
better in color anyway. It's a pretty shot.
Or like Jay said, make some of the other stuff black and white also, and then there's a little more like theme to it.
I think there's just exposure problems through the whole film. Underexposed, overexposed, like, anyway.
So with that said, though, two things. Jay, there was a little transition there. It was the walk down the aisle with the rotation. I think it went like 180 or maybe like 140 degrees.
Was that like...
And then into a spin transition.
That one?
That right there, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cheesy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. I'm torn on that, because on one hand, I always want to give people like props. It's like, look, a teaser is where you should try new stuff. I think a teaser is where you can get more out of the box. I mean, you can in a normal film too, but like, I don't know. This seems like the place to do it, but that didn't land for me.
Well, the thing is like, it's not the shot to do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing inherently cool about the front of that ceremony.
And the light's kind of rough on it, and it was probably overexposed in some spots.
Wicked overexposed.
Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is more of a thing. I have a thing with this. What are your thoughts, Jay, on drone shots? Like, establishing shot, I'm all for it, right? The one of the opening shots, it was the, not barn, I don't know, whatever, the building in the vineyard. Love it. Beautiful. Sets the scene. What are your thoughts on drone shots with the couple?
I like them. I think they're kind of can be a crapshoot, but like that one I liked because they were just walking, so it highlighted them in a way. My thing is always this: if I was filming a movie, right, how would I want to show this couple interacting with this atmosphere and environment?
Yeah,
like that's natural. Now, where it can get weird is when, like, sometimes it's fine. You have, like, the couple, like, looking at the camera or something. Especially certain venues. Like, there's a venue up in Maine I like to do it in because they have a cliff. And the couple will be standing there, and it's, like, looks like a normal portrait. And then, they're on a cliff. Like, there's a reason for it. But sometimes I see people do it, and I'm like, they're just standing in a field, and then you pulled back, and then you saw the cars.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely
that wasn't a great drone shot. Like,
see, that's what I struggle with. I think what I struggle with is, I think actually you nailed it in the one example where I have liked the drone shots I've included. It's been on cliffs, and I've done it in a few different locations that I can think of, and I really like that. But I struggle, and I'm not saying it's bad or don't include it, but I'm just thinking it brings up a personal opinion for me. I really struggle with drone shots with the couple. I just don't think they ever look that great.
If that was top down, like a lay flat, and they were walking through
or like dancing or something. He was spinning her. The vineyard, that's like a close one where it's like it could work, right?
It could work really good. They just it wasn't shot super well, and it wasn't super intentional.
I think you need
but
the right time of day too.
Yeah, that's true.
If you need that like that sunset, sun flare type light, I don't know. I thought it would be fun to bring up because I don't think we've ever talked about it, and it's always like
Jared hates it.
I kind of avoid it. I kind of try to talk couples out of it. Like, I also never want to be on the line for it where they're like, yeah, we're going to go do drone shots. And I'm like, eh.
Yeah. So Benjamin brings up a good thing. I think this person's wide angle lens usage throughout the film was not, first of all, the exposures, you got to fix those exposures. There are so many exposure issues, and it's extremely revealed. I want to show you like a really critical thing that pops in my mind with exposures, because exposures, as much as it's about being correct, Bobby, it is about world building too, right? And so
you can set a mood for sure.
Well, look in the back. First of all, that's just log footage that's improperly graded too. So look at that yellow grass, right? Same yellow grass, but it's different time of day. Same coming up, you're going to see a bunch of portraits of them walking in the same field that you just saw in the background. So everything with that wide angle lens, with that gimbal, looks pretty heinous. But then that right there, that's the color. See, right after this, overexposed, wrong. Previous shot, you see the same exact environment, totally different color grass.
Yeah.
Now the light's a little different, but you don't want people to be pulled out of the story by the choices you make in your camera, where you're telling them like, oh, that grass is gray, that grass is brown, that grass is white. It's like, it needs to like, at least it has to follow the light, but like you got to properly do it, because like for me, that was immediately like, right here, I'm looking going, what a nice day. What a beautiful, warm day. And then here I'm like, whoa, that is so overexposed.
I think some of that exposure, but also I think some of this, I mean, it couldn't be fixed, but like some of it is in the color. There's not a whole lot of grade. I don't know if they shot the whole thing in log.
No, I think they just didn't.
There could be more done on the color end too, for sure.
Yeah, and I think even like, so the other thing I was going to say is this person is also oftentimes shooting the ground, like right here. Tilt that camera
a lot
up
of ground
and shoot that 50 mil right here.
And yeah, exactly. Shoot not so wide on that. There's a lot of wide. I think the biggest things that, we picked on a lot of small things, but I think the overexposure stuff, and then clearly you have a closer lens. This looks great. I think
but look where his nose is.
Yeah, inner eyeball.
There's just little things like that there's a lack of attention to detail. Very good storytelling, solid shooting. I think you can improve on your exposures and white balance and like actually creating your image in camera. But in your editing, there's a lot of attention to detail that you really need to focus on. You have such a short period of time. Like this being overexposed right here, this could be fixed in post, first of all. Or not, or just loggy, unsaturated, whatever the actual problem is with this shot, Bobby.
Yeah.
You cannot afford for this not to be an absolute banger in a 60-second teaser. There could be no bad shots.
That's a good point. When we look at it from the framework of it being a teaser, like, yeah, you nailed it. There, you can't have bad shots. And there's no reason to have bad shots because you're taking this is a little more fast paced. So there's a decent amount, but
this is a good
shot.
Many
shots in a teaser,
Bobby. This shot is a nice
it's
shot.
Actually done really well.
It's just poorly graded or poorly exposed.
To do, too. I don't really do that.
I wouldn't risk that shot. I'm afraid of that shot. All those people start standing at the end.
I'm going down the aisle.
But he did it. It worked. So, other than that, like I do want to go back to the credit, which is, really solid. The one other small thing I was going to bring up, Bobby, is way too much. Is this just me? I just couldn't care less about bridal portraits, like bridal party portraits.
Oh, I don't care about it. I straight up told, I think it was the photographer.
I could not shoot it for all I care.
Yeah, I will get like one shot so that if I need to, I can represent their whole wedding party in the film. And that's like it. I just like don't care about it.
Louis Galverna. We've actually done a bunch of Brazilian films, but I will say my town I live in has a lot of Brazilian people. We call it Brazilford. I live in Milford, but there's so many Brazilian people in my church and in my community that I know, good friends of mine. And what Louis just said is the most Brazilian thing that anyone could ever say.
And also, if you want us to watch another one,
submit it. He might have
submit it.
Yeah, he might have actually. We got one from Brazil. I just didn't. Maybe if I have time today, we'll get to it. But like all of my Brazilian friends are like, "Oh, you like pizza?" Yeah, I like pizza. Have you had Brazilian pizza though? I'm like, yeah, it's good. But anyway, it's funny. Good film though. The one thing I was gonna say is it needs more moments from the actual event that aren't just portrait sessions, bridal portrait sessions, like. Show me more of the party. Show me more of the cocktail hour. Show me, I just felt like I wasn't really there that much. And yeah. So, do you want to move on? Or you got anything else to say?
Yeah,
Bobby?
let's do it. No, I'm good.
So as we're moving on, Bobby, I thought I might, let's talk a little bit about, did you listen to the podcast this week? I know you don't always listen, but.
I don't always listen, but I listen to bits and pieces for sure. This one was you and Jared, right? Talking about going full time as a wedding filmmaker.
Yes. Benjamin had a good idea, by the way, which is bring bring music. Some people do that, but yeah, we're talking about going full time, and I don't know how many of you guys watching are full time. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this. If you're full time, if you want to go full time. I did a survey on the channel the other day.
Full-time.
Me too. I did a survey on the channel the other day, and like most of our audience is not full time. Many of them with no intention of going full time, and that's the interesting thing about wedding filmmaking. It's very much for many people a stepping stone. We kind of wish to change that. I got to be honest, I don't really like that. But because I think more people should want to do this full time. I would say like that's one of my missions as a wedding filmmaker is to help people go full time. But we were talking about that on the show, just what 3 ways you can know if it's ready and time to go full time. What do you think, Bobby, is like the biggest reason a lot of let's just say the people who want to go full time, that they're not able to? Like, what do you think is the biggest barrier with people?
So this is just 100% just my opinion. But I think
you have good opinions,
I think what a lot of people run into, and I don't know if this is what you guys talked about, I don't remember, but like, I think a lot of people get really focused on the creative and they really abandon the business, right? The business side of things. And it's really, really, even if you're making good films doesn't bring business or run a good business. And so I think a lot of times you could be really happy with the content you're creating. You could be making great stuff, or very marketable, sellable stuff. But if you don't have like vendor connections in place, you don't have advertising figured out, like you're not generating leads and you're not closing leads. There's some hiccup along that line of people actually getting to pay you money for what you do. You can't go full time, right? You got to make a living. You got to put food on the table.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis. And if you're listening to this and you want to be full time, my opinion is, and by the way, this is our podcast that's looping. It's just a loop. So if you haven't checked out our other channel, do that. But we kind of focus on that on the show a lot, of helping people succeed in business and do well. Yeah, we could put a link to the podcast, honey. That's my wife in comments. You can just go to weddingfilm.school and then just click on podcast.
Come on.
But yeah, we have really that's been a goal of ours, is to help people do that. And I think what you said is good analysis, which is a lot of people, whether it's they don't know how to be good business people or don't want to be good business people. I don't really think that's the case. But I do think a lot of people, a lot of people don't realize how much they control. That's what I'll say, Bobby. Whoa, you died, Bobby. Are you alive? Where is he? Where did I go? It looks like my computer died, people, for some reason. And so I'm going to have to turn it back on. So anyway, as I'm doing that, I'll finish my thought, which is, if you're wanting to go full time in wedding filmmaking, this will be my rant for the podcast. If you're wanting to go full time in wedding filmmaking, the thing I'll tell you is put an emphasis on getting in front of people who want to buy wedding films with things they want to buy, and not an emphasis on even necessarily becoming the best technical. We're doing film critiques. We're talking about exposures. We're talking about making a better product and making better wedding films and doing all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the most important thing you can do with your wedding films is make sure the right person sees it and that they want to buy what you're making. So I think at the end of the day, a lot of people's wedding films struggle because they actually don't know how to put them in front of people who want to buy them. And so I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're in the comments, like, what do you think is the biggest barrier for you going full time? And what do you think could be improved in terms of the channel and the content that we're putting out? Is this something important? Are we just kind of like barking up the wrong tree with this? But for us, it's kind of important to our mission and what we're trying to do. So Anyway, I'm going to keep critiquing the film. Bobby, if you're watching on the stream, the computer died. So I'm restarting it. And so watch this next film. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to fix the problem. Here's our next film. Our filmmaker is, let's check it out. So our second film today is by the immortal and amazing person who will show up when this thing loads. Please load. So our second film today is, I'm struggling today, guys. I'm just going to play it. I don't know who it is. I can't get it to load. Sorry, guys. Here it is.
Families and friends, we gather here today to celebrate the union of two souls, Penny Tongkan and Larry Vu. Today, we're not merely spectators. We are here to support and witness the joining of two souls. As witnesses, we witness a profound declaration of love, trust, and unity.
You're the love of my life, my rock, my world, my koala. I never thought I could love someone. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for always having my back when nobody else did.
Who knew that the boy I met almost 13 years ago in his I Love SF shirt and chucks would be the man standing in front of me today?
Thank you for everything you have done for me. And better yet, thank you for being a great mom to Cooper. Today is just the beginning of our new journey. A journey to better ourselves for our life. We will be successful. I believe we will.
I love you because you're kind. I love you because you make me feel safe. I love you because you're patient. Although you've seen all parts of me, the good, the bad, the broken, you stuck by my side while giving me the space to learn and grow.
Penny, Larry, you are embarking on a journey of love and commitment that require your unwavering devotion and support to one another. You will share the joys and the struggles of life. And it's important to remember that through love, mutual respect, and understanding, that you guys can overcome anything that comes your way.
Wow. You look pretty. I love you.
Love is not merely an emotion. It's a profound connection between two hearts, a bond that is strengthened through trust, understanding, and unwavering support. It is love that inspires us to be our best selves, to cherish and lift one another, and create a life filled with shared dreams and endless possibilities. Penny, Larry, have you proclaimed your love and commitment to one another in the sight of myself and the witnesses here today? It is my pleasure.
Whoa.
Husband and wife, Larry.
Can we just sit with this for a moment, Bobby?
Wait, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? I'm back, by the way.
Yeah, listen to this.
That transition?
This horror movie transition.
Have you proclaimed your love
Turn it up a
and
little bit.
commitment to one another in the sight of myself?
If you haven't watched our video on how to pick songs faster on YouTube, which most have not because it totally bombed, but I actually think it's one of our best videos ever. So go check out on our channel.
Fun.
It's a good video.
It's Jay's acting debut.
And it's actually good content. And one of the things we talk about is picking songs in the same key. This is why what's about to happen.
And the witnesses here today, it is my pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife. Larry?
Brandon hitting us with the view on that video. What was the phrase, Jay? It was the same key or a complementary key?
Yes.
Yes.
A second, a third, a fifth.
Oh yeah, we're doing some circling with the camera.
Beautiful. Orbits.
Amazing.
Time waits for no BITCH. Okay?
Whoa.
Literally does not. But the universe made an exception and took a...
I really don't like that, Bobby.
I don't either. Well, we already discussed how we don't like doing wedding party stuff.
What is up? Like, let us know in the chat.
It's actually well executed too.
Except for the exposure.
I just don't like it.
But like, is Bobby and I, are we just cold-hearted, grizzled wedding filmmakers?
Yeah, we've just been doing it too long that we're just like, man.
We're not just like, get these people aren't our client. Get them out of my film.
The most important people to them. Nah.
Exactly. I get it. I don't know why. That was just, man, and the people are having so much fun.
That's the ultimate combo for me because it's wedding party, which look, I want to include a little bit, but just not that much. And then it's also like very staged.
You know what it is when the shots with the wedding party they put more effort into that than shooting the reception or shooting the cocktail, like shooting things that actually would. You want to know why you're not full time? Because you didn't shoot that planner's table setting that good, but you shot 10 minutes of a posed shot with the wedding party. Like that will help you go full time.
I'm with you two.
Jay, are we watching this full thing? I don't even know how long it's left.
No, we can bounce. Let's just go to the party. Again, too, it's like, this is also something I always do, Bobby, is like people put in like 30 seconds of dance floor. If you watch, I had a literal planner the other day come to me and say, high-end planner. She's like, I want to work with you guys because you guys, everyone is so serious. Everyone else's films are so serious. You guys actually have fun.
Yeah.
I really think, guys, like putting in, it doesn't have to be hype, but like including more open dance floor, including more happy moments.
And getting in.
Natural ones,
we always
too.
Talk about that.
Not posed fake ones will make you money. And also, nice white shoes, lady.
Able to watch you guys grow and love each other, and
we need like a separate Facebook group that's just about
making fun of photographers out there.
Never seen each other
well, it could be
compliment each other so well, and they're just so in sync.
Look at this! Look how good that is.
Yeah,
this is good
Rose
content.
Sticks, confetti,
foreground, energy. Yeah. This should be freaking in that film. I shouldn't have to wait 5 minutes to get to something this good.
But also, you're just standing on the outside, so change that.
Marriage is not a mere contract.
Whoa.
It's a profound covenant that requires effort, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication. It is a promise to love fiercely, to cherish unconditionally, and to choose one another with each.
Okay, so let's talk about this film. First, I can say a bunch of things I like, because I'm ripping on some things, but there actually are a lot of things I really like about the film. In terms of, this is a good shooter.
Yep. That is
and there's
my
a lot
number
of
one takeaway.
Excellent portrait work. And I do, as much as I think some of that stuff is cheesy, I'm kind of kidding with some of my reactions. Although I'm not kidding for me. If those were in my films, that's how I would react. But I'm not saying no one should do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think in general, this really reflects the couple really well. We always say that. And if it didn't reflect the couple well, that would be like a huge no-no for me. So it's not just a generic.
And we have said that before.
Mm-hmm.
We've called people out on editing not for their couple.
Yes.
And, we never know, right? We never know. The bride could have said, hey, in my sister's film, they did this, and I really liked it.
Yeah, you might have done that. Totally. Totally.
It happens.
So I don't love that it happened, but it did happen. And, couples are our clients and we're running a business, so we have to make them happy.
True.
And I think they will love this.
Mm-hmm.
And I also would say, as much as I have issues with the way he mixed his music, the audio was captured well throughout the day. It was consistent. It wasn't like jarring in any moments except for like that one thing. So, I would say, Benjamin, he said, I feel like it's pretty general. My opinion is probably that is who the couple was. Based on what I'm watching, like they seem fun,
reserved,
but also
fun,
reserved.
But yeah.
They're not edgy. They're just like, they're nice people.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my feedback.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot to add. I was in and out during this film. But I think one of the things I said at the very beginning when I started commenting was I think there's some really good shots in this. I agree. I think this is a good shooter. I think there is some good use of foreground in a lot of stuff. We're seeing it here.
Yeah, I like the way
really
you covered the ceremony a lot.
Yeah. Like this is stuff I don't really even do that often. I'm just wrapped up in the ceremony and maybe I'm like sitting for 10 minutes or not sitting, but checking out of my brain. I like those detail shots, stuff like that. I think in general, I liked a lot of the look and the color. Mm-hmm. There are some shots that stood out to me as being like a sore thumb, or whatever, sticking out like a sore thumb. I think those are things I liked. I think some things I didn't like. Again, some of those colors in some shots. I think a lot of us touched on it. The sniffling was rough.
Honestly, we talk about that a lot. Hey, guys, if you have people sniffling, minimize that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you can get rid of all of it, but I know you could have gotten rid of some of that.
And at least like on the little sniffles, cut that and roll the highs off.
Yeah.
So they're not
was just
cutting your ears.
Pretty hard in my ears. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the fact that a lot of people picked up on that says like that could have been a really big improvement.
That's not just me being anal retentive.
Yeah. And the other, exactly. The other thing too with that is like, that's very specific to this film. You're going to get that in, I don't know, everybody, I guess it varies for everybody, but I don't get really bad sniffling in too many of my films. So it's not like a big improvement for your next film. It's just something to keep aware of.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot else to say, I think.
It was...
I have one more thing to say. We talked about the dance footage. We've talked about like, hey, we want to see some of that earlier. We think there's good energy there. I think it's some cool shots. But I think I said it. You seem like on the outside edge of that dance floor the whole time. Like get in there, get tighter, or go wide and be right next to them. Like get in the center of that dance floor and get
people
some
shoot so wide during dance floor. Sometimes like 50 mil, man. That's the way I like to go.
I'm usually, I think it's the 55 actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on the 55 usually. I'm right in there. Like I am getting bumped around. And that's okay with me. So.
Yeah. And you know what? Shoot 15 minutes with the 50 and 15 minutes with the 24. See which one feels right for the environment. But it's much more about having the composition you want and the energy. Okay. Yep. So the biggest... I have like critiques about some of those silly moments, and we talked about the music. That transition is horrible. You cannot do that. Like if you don't notice that, you need to like tune your editing ears, because I promise you that kind of instinct throughout your wedding filmmaking is probably hurting you in ways you don't know. Not noticing that kind of detail is a major problem.
Yeah.
Like I just think being detail oriented as a wedding filmmaker, look, what's the one thing you look at in that frame right there?
The frame that we're on right now is I'm walking.
Yep.
For me, all the like algae stuff or the dock, I don't know.
All I can look at is the water slide.
Wait, what? Where's the water slide?
Right over his shoulder.
Oh, is that a slide?
Yeah, there's a big water tube slide across it, and it's in like a bunch of frames. You have this water slide. I would shoot away from the water slide.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see that water slide. It's ugly. I wouldn't pick a portrait location where I saw a water slide. I wouldn't pick a portrait location where I saw cars. I wouldn't, like, every little...
Or just go tighter. You
go
can shoot that
tighter.
direction, but go tighter, compress it, blur it out. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of things. That's what I'm saying. It's attention to detail.
yeah,
it's attention to detail. And the last thing,
but I also get that though, Jay. Like, we can go here and we can pick on something and we can pick something out and say do this better. And I think that is the point of this, right? Is for them to say, okay, well, I'm going to think of that in the future. But I also understand that a wedding day can be chaos, and I think we all get that too. Like, I've shot and included plenty of shots that if I had the chance and a 30-second breather time to actually think through it, I would have done differently.
Yeah, I'm saying
life of the filmmaker.
The more you notice that, the more successful you will be.
Yeah, the more you notice, the more you'll be aware, the more you'll make a different decision.
The more you will not shoot that way, the more you'll tell the person we shouldn't stand here.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go like, hey, this doesn't look like, can we not shoot that direction? There's a giant water slide in the background.
I'm just saving my butt because I don't want anybody going into my YouTube page and then just tearing me apart now after.
Oh, I do that, but I'm not going to put it up on, I'm not going to submit it to Wedding Film School. like everybody's made a mistake. I'm saying if I assume if someone's submitting something to me that they're like, this is some of my best work. Mm-hmm. That's what I assume. And if I'm wrong about that assumption, fine.
I don't know, actually.
Or they're new and they're like, hey, how do I get better? One of the two things.
A lot of people just want to submit something recent. And they're like, hey, here's a recent. I think we get people who are like, this is my best work. I think we also get people who are like, this was a really rough one.
I'm just saying, looking at the way that they edited it, they clearly didn't notice the water slide and they didn't have a problem with it. Then the other thing I was going to point out about the film that is maybe small, maybe I was just misunderstanding something. I'm watching the film and I kept getting confused that like they literally like just keep meeting each other. Like they're talking and then they're hugging and then they're tapping. And I was like, okay, did we do this already? Is this a different thing? Like, that's a storytelling thing that I always will try to tell people, like, you're creating a timeline of the viewer of what happened, and it doesn't have to be linear, but like,
no, yeah, you can create your own timeline, but it does have to make sense still.
Yeah, like Bobby, if you were cutting together like a beautiful shot of the bride walking down the aisle, right? Mm-hmm. You probably wouldn't show 5 times throughout the film all your angles.
True. It would be one probably cohesive, or maybe I tease it, right? I tease it early, and then I sell it a little bit later. But yeah, it's not happening like 4 times.
Yeah, it's not like, wait, is this a different aisle? Like that. Yeah. That's. I think there was a little bit of like continuity.
Unless they had 2 ceremonies, then I might do that.
Well, that's what you think here. Is like a continuity issue where it's like,
what's up, Renga?
What is all this stuff? So anyway,
yeah.
Honestly, like I'm ripping on it because I think the mistakes are right up my wheelhouse. Like, these are things that will particularly bother me if I was making a film. These are the things that we would emphasize in our studio. Like, if I got this film back, this is the stuff I would rip him about. If my editor did it, like, they're just things that I particularly care about, which is not being cheesy, not shooting unflattering details. And
don't you guys have a hard and fast rule over at Stop Go Love of no water slides?
I do, actually. Right? Yeah. Well, no, you want to get on Jared's bad side, shoot a portrait session with cars in the background.
I think that's a pet peeve of all of us. I feel like
it's not a pet peeve. It's actually like one of the number one things new filmmakers do.
Well, it's not even pet peeve. Yeah, it's just like we notice it a lot.
So, I was gonna show something while we're kind of loading up the last film, because I was thinking, like, so I just did something a week ago, Bobby. We released a film, short little thing. And I wanted to like play the film, and then I could give you some like a success story behind some cool stuff that happened, because
let's do it.
Because I was like, I want people to realize, like, I was thinking about the full-time thing, and I'm like, why do we do well?
Yeah.
We're good filmmakers. We shoot pretty well. We edit pretty well, but we also know how to collaborate, and we understand the industry.
I think that is one thing that, you know how you think about, like, not to build you up too much, Jay, but I think about, like, well, hey, I haven't even gotten there.
Thank
yet.
you.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
But I like it when you say nice things about me, because you're I know that you mean it.
I think about, like, the best editors or shooters. Like, I think about the people making the best films, some of the best films, right? We think about Alex Douglas. We think about Fiore films. We think about, I really love Henry Martin's films. We think about Bottle Brush. I don't know. There's a handful right in that discussion. Ray Roman, obviously. We think about the people running, like just making one of the best names for themselves, right? Ray Roman. I think Alex and Whitney are in that as well. These ultra luxury brands. But then I think about the people who, like, I think you guys are one of the best in terms of like networking, planner collaboration. Like, you guys do a good job, represent yourselves well, obviously do good work. You have to do a certain amount or certain threshold of work.
Has to be a certain level of quality.
Yep. But you also know what they want, and you guys grind and like do that. And a lot of people aren't willing to do it.
Yeah, so this film was a Huxley film, which is our premier brand. I've been planning this for probably 6 months. A lot of things didn't go as planned. Like 3 different sessions got canceled the day of.
Ouch.
So like, but we put this together. It was a holiday, so we missed a day. So we put it together in two days.
Yeah.
While the wedding was still hot, right? This thing is trickling around. Like the wedding, the photographer's a big deal. The wedding planner's a big deal. So they're posting content about it. If I got it to them 2 months later, it wouldn't have gotten any traction.
Yeah.
Right. So I got it to them by Wednesday. We got, not a crazy amount, like 4,000 plays. Probably 150 likes on Instagram. This is a big thing. Do a collab, guys, but plan it ahead of time. Talk to your wedding planner. Say, hey, do you know how to do a collab on Instagram? I have a document I made with pictures walking planners how to do collabs on Instagram.
So you're having them post it and tag you as a collaborator?
Both.
Vice versa?
We do it both ways, depending on the situation. Some planners want their voice in the caption.
Yep.
Sometimes we put our voice in the caption. Depends on the situation. But in tagging, I also get a list of every single handle of every vendor. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing is maximizing your reach with a release. So if I release content, I'm making sure every person involved likes it and is willing to put it on their feed.
Yeah.
And so we did this, and we got.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll just play the stupid video.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, it's pretty good. It's not the best thing in the world, but I got 5 leads in one day for a package that starts at $10K. So. Planner. Right here, right?
Grinding.
This is a little thing that a lot of people would overlook. And it's meaningless to you as a filmmaker, and it's meaningless to most of the audience. But you know who liked that shot? Carrie likes that shot. And it's good. It is good. The couple likes it too.
Yeah.
And it means it lives on her feed. And she has
now, I'm thinking, Jay, about trying to stand out by posting my films 2 years after
that's good.
They're made.
Try
you think that?
Yeah, no, you should do that. Like, to be honest, you should post old stuff.
Dude, I just need to post is what I need to do.
You should. But like, this is not a social media. I'm not a social media expert, by the way, guys.
No.
I just know how to work with partners, and I know who the partners are.
You know what is valuable to them. You've figured that out, and you are like, I don't know the phrase, but like you just like latch on to it, right?
Well, if you look at the stuff, there's all the planner porn that's in there, but then there's like
all the details, all the table.
But then there's
all the setups.
The mom laughing. I was like, I need some personal stuff. Like, everything matters. Like, I'm gonna be as sensitive to. There's too much details. It's gonna look like a commercial.
You guys run the mom cam during ceremony, right?
Definitely.
You got the 70-200
Definitely.
just on mom the whole time.
You are making a personal film, so you show people that like they enjoy, and then you show the planner stuff and you show the glamour stuff. Like, it has to have all those elements to really work, because nobody wants to look like they're making a commercial. So that's my thing, guys.
Every time I see Jay do one of these, which I feel like comes up every now and then, we'll talk about one, or he'll show me one, sometimes on the show here, sometimes elsewhere, and then I'm like, I'm gonna do that, and then I don't, is basically what happens. So
you gotta intentional. It's not actually easy. So who's our last film today?
Our last film is coming from, before we started, I have one thing to say, but our last film is coming from Ethan Calvin, who is in the chat, Visionary Weddings. He's half in the chat. I believe he's half at work, he said. Catholic wedding, filmed it by myself. The groom's card reading was actually read the next morning because things got behind on the wedding day. Oh, that's cool. I always love a visionary wedding film. I'm excited to see this. But before we dive into it, Jay, I want to say one thing.
Say it.
Your thing that you just played reminded me that I want to take a minute to acknowledge that the very first film that we watched today from John Feldchow, which was the teaser film, I want to acknowledge that was a next day delivery.
Yes.
I think I skipped over that in my critique, and I think that would slightly alter my approach to some of the stuff I said. Not majorly. I think everything we said still stands, but I think it's important to have that framework in mind because I forgot about that.
Yeah, I thought you said it.
I think I said it. I just forgot about it when I was.
I wasn't critiquing it with that in mind, though.
Yeah.
Although I would still say make your footage not look like log.
Yeah. Same thoughts, but yeah. All right. Well,
look at this beautiful frame we're being treated to right there. Oh,
look at that tiny font.
So nice.
So luxury.
I cannot wait to watch this film.
Like that lighting. Like that lighting.
They've gotten so much better. Not that they were ever bad.
Yeah, they used to suck.
But
just kidding. Just kidding.
So much.
You wrote so much. For Marina,
the handheld was cool too.
Yeah. That intro.
You know what I love watching you guys as filmmakers? I love it when you guys find something that you love and that you're good at and you just really lean into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like films like this, like Benjamin at Visionary, he's like, this is the type of couple I want. This is the type of film I want to make. So good on you, man.
For one thing, to prosper for your
Last June, Marina was invited to a Catholic young people's dance and danced with Taylor. They started hanging out, and she was eager for our opinion of him. So even before they were officially dating, we met them for brunch after church and got to know him a bit. Nothing like putting a poor young man on the spot by meeting the parents before you're even dating. But that's what happened.
My sweet Taylor, you came into my life when I was least expecting it. When I first met you, I had no idea that you were exactly what I had been looking for, and was starting to think I'd never find.
The light, the way he's using light is so
phenomenal.
Good. So good. Color grade is also on point. That's a great shot.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
You ever have this really disappointing dad first looks? One time I did one. The dad's like, "Are we done?"
Yeah. Can I go now?
Did I do it?
He's like, "Oh, yeah."
The daughter before is like, "You're not gonna like this." She's like, "My dad is not gonna do this well." I like that nice little symmetry between the two windows.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Should we pray?
Yes, we should.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Ah, this is a cool couple. So sweet.
We've grown through so many highs and lows together and have both experienced lots of healing. I know that healing will continue in our marriage as we grow closer to God in this life. You are the person I want to grow with for the rest of my life. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you walk down the aisle with your dress today.
Oh no, that thing happened.
Bless us with love for each other, and support, and healing, and a strong, lifelong commitment, and for many years of marriage.
And babies.
And babies. Lots of babies.
This is the most Catholic people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I shoot a lot of Catholic people. The Catholic Church is like puts this on their website.
Yeah, they're like, we'd like to license
young
this.
people like us. Watch, look, these cool people.
That's such a cool shot, and used very well.
Something weird about it to me. Can't figure it out. But cool.
Better or for worse, I love you with all of my heart. I can't wait to see you when I walk down the aisle. I love you so much.
Oh wow, that is
wife.
Brutal light right there.
I was just gonna say this
window.
Man, I want to talk about this when we get there.
Yeah,
because I don't know what I would do. There's some thoughts.
That's challenging, man. I almost said something and then I looked at the background light.
It was like, just us four, me and my sister, and then me and my sister were like, "Hey, we gotta go."
I like that hard light right there. I think that's fun.
Together by themselves. And I remember Marina talking to me about Taylor after, and I told her, I'm like, you should give him a chance. He's a really nice and sweet guy. Give him a chance. And she did. And months later, I was helping him picking out a ring and planning a proposal.
You are everything I have been searching for, and so much more. You are the love of my life, my safe place, my confidant, my best friend. Your gentle love makes me a better person. You are my greatest gift from God, and I am so honored that He gave me you to share the beauty and craziness of this life with.
You know, your plan is perfect, beyond what I could ever imagine and dream up. And I'm so thankful for you.
I thank God for you. Every single day.
The rest of our lives.
I love you.
I love you.
All right. So, there's a lot to love. What do you love the most?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one thing, it would be the use of light. Like, it's striking imagery. It's using light the right way in what might otherwise be, especially in the beginning. I'm thinking about prep in what otherwise might be not amazing looking areas, but you kind of are getting rid of that by this use of light, and it looks really good, and the skin tones look really good, the color looks really good. And some interesting use of light throughout too, I think. A couple of unique looking shots. So yeah, I think that would be the number one thing that I would say.
This is going to be...
I think that comes as no surprise.
I think this is going to be a little bit philosophical in terms of world building and story building. Because one of the things that a really good filmmaker, portrait, especially a portrait person, if you're a portrait photographer or a portrait editorial, the key with any kind of posed thing, people go, I don't like posing. It's like, yes, you do. Everyone likes posing. Non-post stuff is garbage. Posing is good. You're just not good at it. You're not good at posing yet.
I think it depends on your, like, I say I don't like posing.
But you do.
But I like, I think it's because I have a...
Here, just follow me to the end of this, because I think you'll agree with me at the end. The actual goal of someone who's very good at this is that they put someone in a pose that actually looks like they would do that.
Yes.
And it draws on their inner like personalities, on their relationship dynamics. Yeah. And so what I loved the most, besides the lighting, which is obvious, was I'm watching all these poses. And because sometimes I watch a film and I'm like, oh, there's so much just boring crap. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of this, like, it's not that there is too many shots. It's like every time the shot comes up, I'm immediately pulled out. Not only does it not look that good, most people don't close enough too. I always want people to get in more with their portrait work.
Yeah.
Especially romantic portrait work, because what you're trying to do is create this juxtaposition between this big event and almost like this is their inner world. This is them relating. And the portrait work in this, as much as it's like, I don't like that. There's a couple I can talk about that aren't my favorite. In general, these sessions made the film, they were the emotional core.
Oh yeah. If he didn't have some of those shots like out in the woods and whatever, this film would have suffered a lot.
This mixed with their wonderful letters and their great first look or prayer together.
First touch.
All of it, like when you're looking at who these people are, even like if like the Catholicism side, like it was a beautiful part of who they are.
Yep.
And so you watch the portrait and you're like, they would probably do this.
Yes.
This is like
I agree with that.
I wasn't like watching it going, I'm watching a portrait. I felt like I was watching like just what would happen if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right. And clearly it's posed because some things look good on camera and some things don't. So that's why I'm saying, like, you say you don't like posing. What you really don't like is unnatural looking.
Yes.
things.
I associate the word posing with the like forced staged type stuff. I would use like direction or prompts is the word I would use, but I think we are ultimately saying the same thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is we want to pose, but we want it to be natural, interpreted how they to represent them and how they would actually
So
interact.
whoever directed it, whether it be Benjamin or the photographer, did a great job directing.
Not Benjamin Kelly.
Sorry, did I not say Did I say Benjamin?
You said Benjamin.
I was just seeing the name pop up. And I just said it. Sorry about that.
Another great filmmaker.
Yeah, you're good, Benjamin, too. But what they did here is they really drew out their personality. And I loved that. And I just felt like very connected to this couple. Like I was watching the film and I was thinking about my own wife and it was effective. I'm a jaded person. I'm around a lot of religious people. I'm around wedding films. It takes a lot for me to feel connected, and they made me feel connected. So that's the best I can say.
Yeah. What about, Jay, things that you think you would have done differently?
Two major things. I think there was a lot of not bad white balance throughout the film. There was also a fair amount of overexposures that were not flattering, like right here on the top of the hair. This is the best stuff, looks-wise.
Yeah, controlled.
They need a more consistent highlight philosophy throughout their film, or shadow philosophy. Whichever one you pick first in your probably highlights go, because the reason most people work with highlights first is because if you lose your highlights, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what made me think about it the most, Bobby? I'm watching all this stuff and it's so sick looking and it looks great. And then we get to the ceremony, right? And I could tell this situation wasn't ideal and this wasn't ideal. And they weren't really able to take their look and their concept all the way through. And so it was kind of sticking out. And so right here, where is it? There's a shot of her coming in the aisle. And I was like...
She walks across that light?
Yeah. I was thinking, like, what if he did the same thing that he was doing earlier in the day?
Stop down and just use that portion as
throughout the whole ceremony.
Yeah.
You just have that be your look, like deep shadows, like right here.
Right there. Yeah.
Like if the shadows were deep.
Yeah.
Like I think like across your films, like I'm watching this whole film and I'm like, it's the one bugaboo for me is like you.
Question though on that, because if you are also delivering a full ceremony, I don't think you could crank this shot down and get that cool effect unless you're running two cameras, or just not use this shot in the ceremony. I guess that'd be fine too. But
I think you could. I mean, the way I shoot it, I typically will have two cameras on one on there.
And I guess ultimately you should be favoring your highlight film, probably.
As long as you don't move your camera.
Yeah.
You can use that deep shot. I think like it's not a critique.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity.
It's just yeah.
I would say like take the things that you're doing in these controlled environments and try to extend them into your ceremonies and into the first looks and into the dances, like places where the light isn't as good, figure out a consistent like philosophy. And I think it'll improve the films. I think it'll like make them even vibier. Yeah. Because like you're getting like, that's what will make them really special is like, if you can, as a filmmaker, okay, you do this controlled stuff really well. Can you take that same look and extend it into the more common moments? Like right here is a little taste, even though it's white balanced kind of improperly. But I'm looking at this going, yeah, that's groovy right there. Deep shadows, like everyone's blacked out in the background. I like that idea. So I would say maybe do that.
Okay, so things that I would say. Okay, I have a couple things. First, I also want to say on the pros or on the good job, this, and this is not like no comment on the couple or anything like that, but that reception is brutal compared to
that's tough for
you
Ethan.
got. That is really, really hard. They did not do you any favors in that. And I think we all know it wasn't as good, right? It didn't look as good as your prep
Although
stuff.
I like this angle, Bobby. What do you think about the orange teal going on here, or the blue teal?
Or yeah,
teal
it
orange.
works.
You have it.
I think like all that to say is just like, given the circumstances, which I think were very rough, and honestly surprising, given how, the other parts of the day, I think that you did a good job with that. So I just want to make sure I said that.
I would agree.
Okay, so the other things I would say, very early on, I think we hear, I don't know if it's a mother of the bride or groom or whatever, talking about when they first met. I think it was a parent. I think it was her parents.
It was her mom.
I don't think we ever saw who that was. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right, and I think I'll
and
agree
I know
with where
we
you're
didn't
headed.
see her. I know we didn't see her when she was talking the first time, which is what I originally wrote down. I was like, I want to see who's talking. But now that I'm thinking back on it, I don't know that we ever saw who that was, or if we even ever heard from her again. So some reference there would be nice. I personally, this is so small, Jay, but there's that little intro, right? Like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, right, to the film.
The thing he always does.
Yeah, it's like 4 shots, 5 shots, whatever. Very beautiful, loved it, looks nice. Both of those shots that we just saw, and maybe that one as well, were used again. And I think I don't like that because...
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it because they are such striking shots used in the beginning that they stick out to me and I recognize them again.
And I would even say, Bobby, in this case, with this film, to me, I would have preferred it to start with them opening their letters.
Yeah.
The stillness of this film, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, really small, a couple reused shots, which just I remember them because they're so nice. So it's in a way a compliment, but I remember them, and then I'm like, why'd you reuse these? Okay, the last thing I want to say is both a pros and a cons. I really like, I know you didn't technically start with them opening their letters, but it was very early on, right? It's 10 seconds into the film. And then at the end, they're putting their letters away. And I think that's such a nice way to really complete this story and bring it full circle. I really, really like that. But with that said, the ending for me, the audio, it needed something else. It was very abrupt to me. It was just like, we're going and it's done. And even with that, like, I'm not sure what I needed, but there was something on the end where I was just like, oh, wait, okay, this is over? Okay. Yeah. Small, but stood out to me.
Here's the one little thing, and this is, I know we can close up shop soon, but I was going to bring something up, Bobby, which makes me think, right? I consider myself first and foremost an event filmmaker, right? Mm-hmm. Which is I cover events and make stories about the events that people go to. I'm not necessarily a person who's the best or most interested in telling love stories. Like, I'm interested in communicating relationships between people and space and telling a story of that day. And of course, we want to go deeper. If I'm able to, I do want to go deeper. But I know that most of our films end up highlighting the event and not so much. And like, maybe if the couple can shine through, great. But I work a lot of events where the couple gives me nothing. Yeah. Like, I shot the other day and the couple's like, between every photo, the portrait the person took, the couple is like, are people going in our tent? Like, they're not focused on that. They're focused on the event. And so a film like this is interesting because it really is focused. It's almost like a biopic kind of look of who these two people are. It almost has no emphasis on anyone else but these two people, the whole film. And I kind of find filmmakers go one of those either direction. They're either like making these films that are all about everything and they're pulling all the families in and everything. And maybe it's not events, maybe it's just like relational films where they're all about everyone, or a film like this where it's all about the couple and who they are.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's
I think
right
that can
and wrong.
depend on the couple too.
It can,
like,
totally.
I don't feel like there was a whole lot. Like I think to capture the event, you want a nice reception, right? You want dance floor, and I don't think they really had that stuff.
Well, that's the question. I would love to know from Ethan
Yeah.
in the chat, like, they didn't seem to have a wedding party.
Yeah.
I don't know who their parents are. I know nothing about a single person who attended that event.
And I think there are weddings where those people and those things just don't play a role. It's not important to the couple. It's not representative.
Well, here's the deal. I'm not assuming that's the case. I know it definitely. The film didn't suffer to me. So I was watching the film going, it doesn't have any of the things I would normally include, but I am enjoying it. And is that because of who the couple is? Is that choices of the filmmaker? Or
both, probably.
Or in like if I edited it, would I have edited a totally different event? Like just
that's
based,
always an interesting
based on like just my own methodology and my way of thinking about events.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's just an interesting thing that always comes up with weddings is like what stands out to one person as a wedding filmmaker is not what stands out to another. And as much as we're saying, here's things you could do better and here's little things, you know, or like I talk about the wedding industry, which, you know, there aren't infinite ways to succeed in the wedding industry. There's a finite amount of things that work. As much as all that can be true, I do think it's important to notice or to point out if you're watching this, that if you want to be successful in the wedding industry and you want to make good wedding films, that you got to lean into what you notice as a filmmaker. And you got to lean into what you're good at and lean into who your couples are, but and don't worry so much about if your films are like other people's or they don't have the glamour or all this stuff. Like this film is a really special film.
Well, we talk about that, and just to like kind of tie this together, wrap this up. We've talked about that before, right? When we say, look, nothing I'm not talking about this film specifically, but I have definitely said other times, nothing in this film amazes me. Nothing in this film is groundbreaking. But this is a very marketable, repeatable film, and that is good business cornerstone.
Yeah, there's
sometimes
something good about
and again, not this film specifically, but just that general concept.
This film is not marketable at all.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to go, Jay, and I have one thing to leave you on. Okay. Somebody tell me, because my camera is about to die. Sony A7S III. This thing is plugged into a power bank with a battery in it. How does it drain the battery and then just die? It's like the power bank. Like, somebody tell me. I can't figure it out.
You got to get AC power, bro. You got to get AC power.
I'm USB-C. Oh, well, yeah, I got to just do that.
You got to just do that. Hey, guys, thank you so much for checking out the Wedding Film School live show. Check out our podcast on the Wedding Film School show or wherever podcasts are. If you want to submit, head over to weddingfilm.school. There's a form on there.
Also,
yes,
if you submitted today, which a lot of you did, I think we got like over 5 submissions at least during this stream, we will kind of queue you up for next week.
Yes, but go ahead and submit right now or submit next week. It's open for next week. If you're watching later, then sorry about some of the mistakes in this podcast or in this live show. We're excited to have you. We got a bunch of other content on the channel. We just reviewed the new Zhiyun gimbal that just came out.
True.
I would say I would like to do a secondary review about how it breaks because mine broke. But yeah, very solid, like fun to use. And then of course we have weekly content we're doing. We want to be the best place for wedding filmmakers. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hopefully y'all have a good day and a great weekend shooting weddings, right?
See you next week.
See you guys. Bye.
Peace.
So I was gonna